Everybody, how is it going? Welcome to the first race of the season for the League of Europe. My name is Jake. I'll doing the comms for you guys more than likely throughout the entire season for this PC tier. It is the first season we are going to be having on the PC side. I did manage to reveal all of the cars for everybody yesterday, and I am going to pull up an image of that very shortly for you guys. But I mean, we have got the full 18 tracks. We are also we're following basically what the PS4 side are going to be doing as well. So I do hope you all do follow along throughout the season. I did stream the preseason race last season. If you guys did manage to catch that, then good. I'm hoping you guys did enjoy that, and I'm sure we are in for an absolute great season throughout this entire thing. I know the screen is black at the moment for anybody that is just popping into the stream. I'm just in the process of just trying to grab a couple of images for you guys. So do bear with me for 1 second. Mm, do, 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 do. So here we go. As you can see on your screen right now, lads, you have got the teams that were revealed. I don't think it was revealed in the podcast, unfortunately, because of a few sort of issues with trying to get it out. Of course, these guys race tonight. They would have only known about an hour and a half before they race. So, yeah, here are the teams. You have got V5 and Brie in the Mercedes, the black nice livery of the Mercedes. In the Ferrari, you have got WF Gaming and O'Hardy, two new lads into the league. In the Red Bulls are the pairing of Warren and Jonathan, both very strong at the preseason race last week. And I think these two are definitely going to be high title contenders. In the McLarens, it says XL Dan and Davo. Unfortunately, Davo has had to drop to reserve just due to his work issues. So one that is replacing him is now the German called Moritz. Uh, in the banana cars, as I like to call them, in the Renaults, you have got the Irishman of Gilzo and the Belgian of Black Panther. In the AlphaTauris, you've got Bones and Exy, although Bones unfortunately isn't here tonight, just a few sort of technical issues with his wheel. In the Racing Point, you have got Coop Janssen and Graham. New pairing as well to LOE. I know these guys are very keen to get racing, and I am also very much looking forward to it. In the Alfa Romeos, you have also got Frey, the Spaniard that did race in the PC side, sorry, the PS4 side, and Mr. Anchor, Mr. VSR Anchor. In the Haas, you've got TBLA and E2, although TBLA isn't here tonight, unfortunately, and there could be a few consequences for him if he may not show up next week. And then the final pairing you have got is ILRT Lawmans and VSR Psych, both guys that I have raced in the ILR PC side last season. And I know what these guys are capable of, and I am very much looking forward to seeing how these guys are going to get on with this thing as well. Now, moving on to the calendar for the season. So, this is the calendar. Of course, Australia is going on tonight, starting, as I said, going on right now. Moving on to Bahrain next week with Vietnam in 2 weeks' time. Netherlands after that, or the Netherlands after that. So we do miss out China. Spain is a week after the Netherlands, with Azerbaijan making its return into the calendar. For Ella, we didn't race it last season, so thought it was only right just to have it in the calendar for this season. At After that, we have got the Circuit de Villeneuve. I absolutely butchered that, but we're going to stick with it anyway. On the 18th of September. On the eighth race we will have is Austria, the Red Bull Ring. Then we've got Silverstone. After that, Hungary is the 10th race of the season, with Belgium being number 11 on the 16th of October. Italy, the 12th race of the season, which I know a lot of people are usually looking forward to. Then we've got a bit of a break week. You know, just give these drivers a little bit of time just to have a little break, because a well-deserved break is always nice. After that, you have then got Singapore, Japan, USA. Well, yeah, we shift over to literally one end of the world to USA and Mexico. Then we shift back over to the other end of the world for Abu Dhabi, and then once again back over to the end of the world because these guys do love traveling, and we finish at a traditional of Brazil as the final race of the season. Now, I am going to start getting into the game for you guys, just so at least then you are able to see what is going on. So, this is how it is looking so far. DL Warren on a 19-0. I've just realised you guys cannot hear anything, so bear with me, but there you go. So, DL Warren currently sitting on pole at the moment on a 19-0. That is an awful noise, so I'm going to switch off of Black Panther for that. Mr. Anchor sitting in second at the moment, doing a 19.3 with Syke in third and Lawrence in fourth. The Williams looking pretty good so far. Doing pretty well. Fifth, you have got Bree and then Dan in sixth so far. Kip Jansen in seventh, Exy in eighth, E2 in ninth, Black Panther in 10th, Graham in 11th with Hardy in 12th, Gilzo is in 13th, Vallejo in 14th, Free doing a little bit of doing something different, going on a set of medium so far in P15, Moritz in 16th, and WF Gaming E2 and Itendu and V5 aren't in the session for some reason. Gonna have to bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna have a quick check as to see what is going on with them. Do bear with me. I think, in fact, it's just guys that have DNF'd. I don't know if it's just because they've DNF'd at the chicane. I have no idea. I'm assuming they've DNF'd at the chicane. That's the only thing I can think of. That is the only thing I can think of. But, yeah, so a lot of these guys have already done a few of their laps. Now we are going to go on board with... Let's just see who's the furthest one out at the moment. XC... Oh, no, Vallejo's just gone into the pits. So it is a racing point, I think. Is that Graham? No, it's not. It's Mr. Kip Jensen. So we'll go on board with him for you guys as he is just about to start his lap now. So, in fact, you know what? I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you guys just ride out a lap of the Albert Park circuit. So I'll be back with you boys in a minute. As never mind, he's actually just had a bit of a spin. So unfortunate for Kip Jansen. But we'll go on board. In fact, you know what? We'll go on board with the man that's sitting in P2 at the moment. In the Alfa Romeo of Mr. Anchor, coming up towards turn 3 now. Definitely a very heavy braking zone. Maybe we want to go into second or third gear. Short shifting up to third now, coming around the tight and twisty turn 4 and turn 5. Turn 5, I know a lot of people can tend to lose it there, especially when they're on full fuel loads, so it can be a bit tricky. So far, he's actually gone for a purple sector 1. It's about, I think he said he was a 10th up on his time. So a good start for Mr. Anchor. Now coming up towards turn 7 and turn 8. Oh, sorry, turn 8 and turn 9, sorry. My apologies. Now coming up towards turn 10. Now this, I know it's a killer. I think 3 people have actually died at the chicane, as I got a message from WF Gaming that he did die at the chicane. But he's only 900ths of a second up on his time. So it doesn't look so far he could be challenging DL Warren. However, it could change because it might have been a sector 3 that was a bit sloppy, very wide on the exit curb of turn 12, but has kept that done very nicely. I know it can be easy to spin there. Now coming up to the penultimate corner as Mr. Anchor makes his way now around the final corner, gets a very nice exit coming out of there, and Mr. Anchor, he is going to come home to do a 19-0. It isn't enough to beat Warren though. It's not enough. Unfortunate for him. I'm going to go on board because I think... Who's going to be the next one across the line? Is this Graham now that's coming across the line? Or is that Cube? No, it is Graham. So Graham, here we go. Making his way out to the line. He is 5 tenths up on his time. He's going to put him in P9. In fact, P8. He goes up only just ahead of Exy. So very, very good effort from him. Now Dan, the Dutchman that is in the Papaya. Is he going to improve on his time of 20.3? He does. He goes to do a 20.2. Again, valiant effort from the man in the orange. Lawmans has actually come home to improve on his lap ever so slightly. But Black Panther goes up ahead of Lawmans, 2 ILRT counterparts. and myself as well, I suppose. Black Panther just the one at the top at the moment, and it is also just want to say a Belgium versus a Dutch. And so far, Belgium is the one that's sitting on top. Just on board with Syke, he did unfortunately manage to invalidate his first lap, but he is about to come into the pits. Actually, I thought he was going to start another lap. So let's have a look. Is E2 on for? He is. E2 is just making his way around the final corner. It is looking like it is an improvement. But what's his time going to be? 20.6. He goes up just ahead of Graham. And Vallejo is still down in 14th at the moment. In fact, he did improve. I think he did improve on his time, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Definitely not too sure about that. Just seeing if anybody else is sort of jumping up. Not, I think Frey is just starting his lap as well. So, you know what? This time, hopefully, Frey, don't spin at turn 2 because I'm going to sit on board with you and everybody is also going to watch the stream. No pressure, but ride on board with Frey for a lap on the Albert Park circuit. I think unfortunately their Frey just invalidated right at that fast right-hander. Unfortunately for the Spaniards. Did look like it was going to be a promising one, but and they did have a little bit of a half spin towards turn 11. Because if anything, he's going to have got one more lap. We have only got 4 minutes left of the qualifying session. We did cut into it a little bit late, but the man is now actually got the full-time seat of Ritz. He wasn't here for the pre-season race last weekend, so I have no idea on what his pace is looking like. So definitely looking like a tidy lap. So it's getting a little bit out of shape. Going through turn 9, but he looks like he's done well anyway. Through turn 11 now. Oh, he's cut inside chicane. It was looking very good for him, but cut out of his lap. Warren, same as well. Unfortunately, validating his lap. So that I'm going to go on. I'm just going to go to a few of the comments. We've got Mark cheering on for Frey. Jesse Grosser, I'm assuming might be WF Gaming or is Nintendo, one of the two. Saying because I know they've both crashed out, so I'm assuming it's one of those two. Puff saying let's go Bones and Gilzo. Puff, unfortunately, Bones isn't racing, but Gilzo is, so you can always cheer on the Irishman of that. Peggy, as I like to call him. A little bit of an inside joke between the pair of us. Or more than inside to him. He loves it. Mark saying oi oi Bones. Again, it's not in. Keep Jansen saying, bruh, I have just died. I think it was referencing to when he had his spin. Mark saying 5 different platforms. Same grinder energy. Warren saying, Jonathan and me practice together. It's Invalidation City. Classic. And then Mark saying, Jacob, can you unblock Fuzz from commenting? He likes me now. Okay. I don't know if I can do that right now. I might need to do that afterwards. Maybe. As I've just realised the top 3 will split within a 10th. In fact, it's within 600ths of a second. That is extremely close. Extremely close. I don't think Warren's going to be able to get out another lap either. Yeah, he can just put his car back in the box. So on, but I don't think he will. However, Mr. VSR Psych, he came in here earlier saying he can do 18.6s, and I want to see a lap from him now and see if he can get that 18.6 done, as he has a massive bit of road steam on turn 2, but he's held down very nicely. Definitely managed to get that one saved, but a bit of a lock up on turn 3. He's going to hit his lap, unfortunately. We'll still stick on board with him anyway, because I know he's going to be the first one to actually complete it. Oh, according to Warren, I'm 30 seconds ahead of what the finish time is. Really? Huh. Very strange, very strange. Must be just a bit of a glitch then. But Psyche is looking like he's on for a very good lap here. It might be an improvement on his time. We will see as he's making his way up to the penultimate corner now. He does get stopped very nicely. Short shift to third, short shift to fourth. Takes a very narrow line now. DRS wide open for Manuel. He's making his final lap. What's he going to do? He does improve and does a 19.1. And that was his final lap. So Psych, I think, has psyched out the majority of the guys behind him, as apparently everyone is now done. But I think, as Warren said, it's a little bit dodgy at the moment. So wait and see, as Jonathan currently on a lap as well. A few guys are making their way up towards the line. And Mr. Anchor starting his lap now. Who else have we got? Dylan Warren now managing to start his lap. There is a Ferrari that's just come across the line as O Hardy. So I think Exy is the first one. And he's improved on his time. He goes and does a 20.0. So he's improved on it. So good job to him. Frey, go on board with him, as he's actually invalidated his time. But he's got one more lap in. Strangely enough. It's Jonathan. There we go. Now it's just finished. So Frey's only just managed to get himself in a lap. Jonathan putting himself on pole. Only so far though, as the two McLarens have actually put themselves into the 19th. Moritz and Dan, and Bree has just split them. As Black Panther didn't unfortunately manage to improve. One of the racing points just come across the line. It is Cube Jansen putting himself up in a P8. We now go on board with Mr. ILRT Normans. He is making his way around the final corner. He's 2 tenths up on his time. I'm surprised he didn't manage to invalidate from that. So this could be a very good lap for Lormans. He does go up into P8, just pushing down Cube into P9. What about Gilzo, as he's making his way across the line right now? The Irishman stays down in P15. Frey is already on, he's still on his lap, but Mr. Anchor slots it on pole. The first one into the 18s. What about Warren? Is he going to put himself on pole? No, he doesn't. He drops his teammate down to P3, so he puts himself up on the front row. Jonathan going to be having to start on the second row just behind Mr. Anchor. And I'm not too sure if there's going to be anybody else that's going to be able to improve on that time. Frey, I think, has backed off from his lap. Exy, he already done his lap before, so I think he must be coming into the pits as well. He is indeed. So our first pole sitter of the season is going to be Mr. Anchor, with the two Red Bulls just behind him. And I'm looking forward to this battle, especially also with Syke and the Williams. And we can't rule out those two McLarens down in P5 and P7. Those guys, I know Dan can... I would say Dan is a lot quicker in a race than what he is in qualifying. So with him sitting in P5, he could be a bit of a dark horse for this one. And also, I would also say Bree. I know Bree is usually quicker in a one-lap scenario. However, there could also be a chance he could do very well going into that too. But there are your final classifications. We just wait for another 10 more seconds until the session ends, or I think it'll be a little bit longer than 10 more seconds until the session ends. But that is how it's going to go, how it's gone down. 3 people unfortunately not managing to get their laps in, them being WF Gaming Tendu, if I said that right, and Mr. V5HRL. But yeah, I mean, if everybody want to put in their top 3 of who they think is gonna yeah, put their top three in the chat, and we'll see if we can get some of your predictions. I'm gonna probably go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Mr. Anchor's gonna take the win. In fact, I think the top three are gonna be exactly how they are at the moment. Maybe Sight could play a little bit of a part into it. So we'll see. We'll see. But there you are, as I said, here's your final classifications for qualifying. You have got Mr. Anchor on pole with Dylan Warren next to him on the front row. Jonathan qualifying in P3, Syke riding out the second row. It's an all-XL third row with Dan and Bree. Moritz sitting down in P7 with Lawmans in 8th. Keep Jansen in 9th with Exie rounding out the top 10. Getting a free start on his on some new fresh tyres is going to be ILRT Black Panther in P11. E2 sitting in P12 with Graham in 13th. Hardy sitting in P14 with the Irishman Gilzo sitting in 15th. Vallejo in 16th. Frey, the Spaniard, sitting down in P17, only actually doing a time on the mediums. And then, as I said, the three guys, unfortunately, that didn't manage to get a lap in were WF Gaming, Etendu, and V5HRL. Now, I am looking forward to this, because I'm very interested to see how this is going to go. I hope you guys are ready for it as well, as we just wait for all of these guys to get their race strategies done, putting in the right amount of fuel, and then we can get this race underway. I do regret not grabbing a drink before this, because it is very, very hot in England right now. Yeah, I don't even have anything with me, so this is going to be fun. So, formation lap time, let's have a look and see what everybody's tyres are on. So, everyone has opted to go for a set of softs, other than Graham, Hardy, Gilzo, Itendu, and V5. So the back two are going on a set of mediums, and I'm actually going to turn myself up a little bit and turn the stream down a little bit so you guys can actually hear me, so I'm not just sort of muffling. There we go, that should be a lot better for you guys. But there you go, it does say the predicted pit stop strategy. If guys on the top 10 are more than likely going to go for a soft to hard, or in fact all the guys that are on a set of the softs are going to be probably going for a soft to hard. Soft to medium is doable, however it is very tight, especially in this game with how tyre wear works, and depending on also what assist you're using. I think some ABS users can struggle to keep their tyres in sort of like a lenient temperature. So this is where it does get interesting. We get to see the fakes from the rear. I can't remember how the saying goes, but it's something like that. But yeah, guys, everyone, as I said, get your top 3 predictions in. I think it's just going to be the top 3 as how it is at the moment, unless one of them has an absolute huge crash. So as I said, we shall see how we fare on, as all of these guys are now making their way up to the line. So here we go, we now wait for the 5 red lights as we are about to get the first season of the PC side underway. It is lights out and away we go, and Mr. Anko looks like he's got actually a pretty good start, but so has Syke. Just behind all of those guys there is a Mercedes that has gone into the grass. I think that is Bree, unfortunately, but Dylan Warren managing to keep his position on his teammate, and everyone outside the top 5 have also kept their positions, other than Syke has actually managed to get past Jonathan going in towards turn 2. Dan has managed to keep up with all of those guys as well, and I think there's a bit of a collision going on at the back. It is Moritz, unfortunately, dropping down in the P20, battling with V5 for the final position. Exi and Gills also both going very close together as well, but at the moment the top 5 have managed to remain how they are. Lawman's moving himself up into P6. Bree, I don't know what happened to him at the start, but he looked like he had an absolute shocking start, as him and Gilzo look like they are both side by side right now, as Gilzo getting past the XL member of Bree, and Nintendo. This is looking like a bit of a spicy one, as Nintendo stuck behind these guys of Vallejo and Hardy, nudges him into the back ever so slightly, as Xe now trying to go down the inside of him in turn 9, not able to get the move done, has to stay behind this little group, and you can already see the gap forming between the two Ferraris, as WF Gaming very close behind Hard Frey, and he spins at turn 11. He's trying his best to move out of the way of everyone, but WF Gaming, the first casualty in the race to that turn 11 curb. But as I said, the top 5 all stuck together. Lawman's now starting to catch up to this little group as well, dragging him along with Cute Jansen and E2, and then ILRT Black Panther is just about a second and a half behind all of those guys. The graphics are starting to change ever so slightly, which isn't the case, as Moritz, he's been out the final corner, he's actually in the wall, and that is him out of the session, as Frey now trying to go around the outside of Graham in towards turn 2. Now leading up in towards turn 3, Frey's going to have the inside on the racing point, moves back on to the racing line. Graham has to stay behind the Alfa Romeo Spaniard of Frey. Frey now up into 10th, and just to let you guys know, in case you are new to the League of Europe, it is the top 12 that will get points. So everyone in the top 12, and if you get the fastest lap in the top 12, you will get that extra point. Anyone outside of that is not getting any single points whatsoever. But Frey, as I said, moving himself up into P10 now, doing a decent job from the start. He's now got the man in the Renault in front of him of ILRT Black Panther. So we'll see how he fares on, as I'm going to go back up towards the front of the grid, as Jonathan is starting to... There's a little bit of gap starting to form. As you can see, Mr. Anker and Warren have started to pull away from Syke ever so slightly, and Jonathan only 5 tenths behind him. Gap from the top 4 now down to Dan as well. Dan is out of that DRS zone from all those guys in the top 4. As Bree and Xe have just traded places, as well as Jonathan is the one that has set the fastest lap of the race so far. So let's see, DRS is enabled this lap as well, in case you guys don't know, as there are more yellows. Is that V5 or is that Bree? I think it was V5. It looks as if it was V5, and I think he's got left end plate damage. I think he must have binned it out of the final corner. Yeah, he's going very deep into turn 1. You can see it, front left end plate damage. Unfortunate for the Brit in the Mercedes. But we have still got all of this battles going on up and down the field. As I said, the top 4, they are all still within a second of each other, so they're all going to get DRS. Dan could be in for a bit of a treat with his fellow Dutchman of Lawman's just behind him. 5 tenths behind. DRS is not open as of yet. It will be activated as soon as you've gone through turn 11. And I wouldn't want to be following anyone through there, as Black Panther has dropped down to P12. Oh. I'm not too sure what that's about. Definitely not sure what that's... Oh, he's lagging. That's probably why. And it's caused Vallejo to unfortunately go wide. As now O'Hardy's dropping down places, and Gilzo's down in 15th. I'm not too sure what's going on. But here we go, O'Hardy going down the inside of the Irishman to Gilzo, both side by side going through the penultimate corner. Gilzo on the inside, he's in fact coming into the pits. I can see he's got a bit of front left end plate damage. And then we've got this Bree just up this battle up ahead with Bree and Itendu. Bree now trying to go down the inside of Itendu into turn 1. I think he's got DRS, he's got the softer tyres. Bree, I think that's kind of a standard move for him. He's now up into P13. One more position and he gets himself a point at least. Get the telemetry put on as well, just so you guys can see as well if they are in DRS or not. But Lawmans, look how close he is to the back of Dan. This looks like this could be a very good battle between the pair of them. As Lawmans locks up ever so slightly, as Hardy has retired from the session. He's actually been at turn 5. Is there going to be a safety car? It's a virtual safety car. So Lawmans, he was eyeing up a move on Dan. I think Dan has just been saved by the bell, or saved by the safety car, shall I say. As Black Panther has just got a 5-second penalty for a collision with Graham. Interestingly enough, does that mean that he's got some wing damage? Couldn't see any. Definitely couldn't see any, but I'm assuming the VSC is more than likely ending right about now, as the top 3 have made their way into the pits. Now this is where it gets interesting, because all those guys are going on the set of the hards, and they're more than likely going to try and go to the end of the race. So, is anyone else going to think about coming in? Jonathan actually stayed out. Of course, his teammate is the one that came in. As Coop Jansen in the background has lost it at turn 2. He was doing so well as well. Unfortunate for him. Very unfortunate for the Dane. But Warren, Anchor and Syke have all come out in P10, P11, and Syke's actually come out in P13, although he's already just gotten past Cube Youngster, so he's now in the P12. But look how much time he's lost because of him being in a bit of traffic. As there is some swapping going on between Nintendo and Gilzo. But I'm going to stick on board with this battle as Lawman's DRS is now wide open for him on Dan. This is for, I think, a net P5. Lawman's not close enough. Dan just looks like he gets a much better exit in comparison to his Dutch compadre. As Exit gives himself a 3-second time penalty. I've seen a few guys already getting themselves some time penalties. I think Warren was one of the first ones to pick one up. V5, I'm pretty sure I saw him pick one up. As I said, a couple of others as well. I know expecting with it being strict corner cutting is probably going to be quite a few penalties in the races. Exy tries to dive one up the inside of the Haas of Itendo, not able to get any sort of move done. As I'm going to go on board actually with ILRT Black Panther, as he's going to have the DRS on Graham. Here we go, wide open. He does put it into overtake, but drops off of overtake. He knows he's not close enough to getting any sort of move done. And now this is a battle that is spicing up. Look how close Lawmans is to the back of Dan. Lawmans just doing anything he can just to maybe try and get sneak his way past the XL man. Dan, a little bit of background if you want as well. Former ILRT man himself. As Dan goes a bit deep in towards turn 9. Lawmans down the inside of in towards turn 10. I think it would be a bit silly to go for a move there. Lawmans, he does keep in that DRS of Dan. However, Dan does usually get a better exit out of here, but it doesn't look as if it is this time, as Lawmans' DRS now wide open. He doesn't put it into overtake. He does preserve his ERS. I think he's just going to wait for the start-finish straight, as Lawmans got a very bad exit going into that. He definitely went a bit too deep, as P6 and P7 of Graham and Black Panther. A bit of lag between the pair of them. I think it is Black Panther that is lagging ever so slightly, but he was eyeing up a move on the man in the racing point and hasn't been able to get any sort of move done. Now, here we go. Lawmans' DRS is now wide open for him. He's still not chucking it in overtake. He knows he's not going to be able to get any sort of move done on Dan. Maybe into turn 3, however, as there are more yellows, and it is Bree. He's spun at the final corner. He's gotten himself, you can see, front right end plate damage. As Dan and Lawmans are now both side by side. Lawmans was trying to go around the outside of Dan into turn 3. Dan holding his own, going through into turn 4. And Dan does just stay up ahead of his Dutchman of Lawmans, as Lawmans picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. But I can tell this is going to be a very good battle between these guys here. Jonathan already 7 seconds up the road from both Dan and Lawmans. So Jonathan could be in with a very good shout here, actually, because if these guys of Mr. Anchor and Warren are going to be sat in traffic, I know they pit under the VSC. I mean, let's have a look at how close the gap to the leader is with them. So it's 21 seconds. Or 17, actually, for Mr. Anchor. I didn't even see this. I'm very shocked that Warren's dropped off as much as he has. Because Syke is now only just behind him. Again, could be a completely different scenario come the end of the race as Lawman's going for an undercut on Dan. So Lawman's, this could be a very interesting strategy for him as the other ILR team and the Black Panther also comes into the pits. Both going, I'm assuming, on a set of hards. They look like they are. Lawman's has. Black Panther, in fact, has a 5... Oh, he had a 5-second stop go. He's had to serve it for hitting the back of Graham. Unfortunate for him as Gilzo and Bree with that front right end plate damage. I'm assuming he's going to be coming into the pits this lap. Yep, the Maltese man does make his way into the pits. But now Dan has got a little bit of a mission to do if he wants to try and overcut Lawman's. Lawman's coming out 9 seconds down the road from his teammate. As Frey picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. Only 8 laps in so far, and there's been quite a few. There's already been quite a few good scraps going on, and I can guarantee you there's definitely plenty more to come. As I'm just going to quickly dip on board. It's for outside of the points, but I mean any position at this point can matter. As a battle between Etendu and Exi. Exi, in fact, I think that's got front left end plate damage. He does. So I'm not too sure how he's picked that up. Might have gone into the back of someone or something like that. I'm honestly not too sure, but. Exi, anyway, he looks like he's still doing a decent job as Dan. Here we go. This is what we're going to see. Dan into the pits, and where is he going to come out in relation to Lawman's? He's now just leaving his pit box as Lawman's is making his way around the penultimate corner. So, has Dan managed to jump in? Lawman's now coming around the final corner. You can see it on the minimap, and the pit strategy, or the pit window is now open. Dan, has he got this jump on Lawman's? There's Dan, and he has got the jump on Lawman's. But Lawman's is definitely going to have the better run of the two, but he won't have the DRS. As there was just a change there as well, Syke and Dylan Warren. I'm really sorry I did not manage to catch that there, but this is for a net P2, or potentially, yeah, net P2 actually. Could potentially be a net P3, but Warren, I don't know what's happened to him. He's just losing. Oh, it looks like Syke is just absolutely blitzing through him. He's already gapped him by 0.6 of a second. So unfortunate for him as Mr. Anchor. DRS is wide open on Graham. I don't think Graham's going to try and fight that too much as Jonathan, the race leader, has just lagged out of the session. Oh dear, oh dear. Can I invite people? I can really quickly, so I'll get him back in. Anyone that probably lags out, I'm more than likely just try and invite him in pretty quickly. So I'm glad I know that I can actually do that whilst being a spectator in this game. As E2, the first has into the pits, and he has got himself a 5-second stop and go for speeding in the pit lane, unfortunately, as Black Panther picks himself up yet another 3-second time penalty. As Dylan Warren again, another 3-second time penalty from him, and Etendu a 3-second time penalty as well. In fact, where is Warren going to come out in relation to WF Gaming? Oh, that's why, because WF Gaming is into the pits, and he has unfortunately sped into the pits. But we've got two little battles brewing. Well, I'll say two. There's quite a few battles that are brewing. You've got the two, well, I was going to say the two Renaults, but it's not the case. You've got a battle with Etendu, Cube Jansen, and Exi and V5. You've also got this battle between Dan and Lawman's, as Lawman's is now starting to close back in to Dan. You've also got this battle between Syke and Warren, along with Graham and Vallejo. Those guys still yet to pit. As Frey also still yet to pit. It says he's on 0 lap old softs. I can tell you now, he's definitely not on 0 lap old softs. In fact, he's more than likely looking to probably come into the pits this lap. As WF Gaming has managed to come out on a set of hards, only 3 seconds down the road from the likes of V5, Exi and Cube Jansen. As speaking of the man in the racing point, has just picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, so I do apologise. As Jonathan, oh no. Oh dear. His AI is just coming into the pits and stuck on a set of mediums. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That is definitely not good at all. And I hope Jonathan can get in ASAP. But yeah, there goes Dan and Lawmans on Jonathan as Lawmans almost just run wide out of turn 2. Jonathan's AI, is he going to try and move against Lawmans? Maybe not. But that's going to cost him a lot of time. And now Xe and V5 having a good scrap. Xe, remember, still has got that wing damage. Did pit, I think, under the VSC as well. So I don't think he's wanting to go for another pit stop. Although there might be a case he may have to come at the end of the race. There we go, V5. DRS is now wide open for him. DRS is open for Xe as well, but trying to go around the outside of the Alpha Tauri. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. I think they're both leaving enough space for each other. I think Xe just went a little bit too deep as there are more yellows up ahead. It is Graham. Is that the elusive turn 10? It is. It's that deathly curb, and he has got front wing damage, and he's trying to stay out of the way of everybody as much as he possibly can. In fact, he's got no wing at all. So the Brit in a racing point, unfortunate for him, he's probably going to have to come in the pits sooner than what he expected. He can chuck on a set of hards, however, and go to the end of the race. Graham just making sure he doesn't speed in to the pit lane. I will quickly just invite Jonathan again, as the scene he has just gotten back into the game. So give me a second. There we go. Hopefully he can get back in ASAP for you guys. But E2, never mind. That's on the ghost of the German of Jonathan. So let's have a look. What other battles are starting to brew up? I mean, Dan and Lawmans is now. Looks like Dan has gotten out of the DRS of Lawmans, so unfortunate for the Dutch in the Williams of Lawmans. He might be able to catch up to him ever so slightly soon if Dan does make a mistake, or if he ends up just getting a bit of better traction out of that. But this battle I'm going to go on board with is the three-way battle between Janssen, Nintendo, and V5. Along with, actually, there's a battle behind with Graham and WF Gaming, both having a spin and having their wing taken off, getting their wings replaced as well. So it could be a little bit of a battle brewing up between at the back there as well. Frey, I've actually realised, has come into the pits and has come out in now P6. I believe he's made his stop. He has, yeah, everybody has made their stops. So this could be a bit of an interesting one. I didn't even realise as well, Gilzo going on a set of softs, interestingly enough. Very interesting, but for some reason all of the times have just glitched. I have no idea why. Oh, and now this is just glitched. I'm not too sure as to what is going on with this, but you're going to have to deal with me having to flick through people now. I believe Jonathan is now back in his car. He is indeed, and he's stuck behind the Spaniard of Frey in the Alfa Romeo. It was running well for Jonathan that entire race until he ended up unfortunately lagging out of the session. I'm not too sure as to what had happened there. I'm hoping I can get this sorted out soon. It's very annoying that it's sorting itself out. There we go. Here we go, Frey getting a very bad exit out of turn 9. Jonathan around the outside of Frey into turn 9. What a move from the German. I know he's on a softer tyre compared to Frey, but that was still an impressive move. Very good move from Jonathan as E2. He's kind of a little bit under the radar, I must admit. He's done very well for himself. As I didn't also realise Warren came into the pits, so he may have had a bit of front wing damage, which explained why Syke got got past Warren and just started to gap him pretty much almost instantly. As this battle is now starting to shape up once again, Lawmans and Dan. The Battle of the Dutch, as I probably like to call it. In fact, Graham and Nintendo have both just traded places. I think it was him going down the inside into turn 11 as there's yellows. In fact, it is Nintendo who has actually unfortunately spun. I don't know what has happened to him. Has he got wing damage? It doesn't look as if he does, although he is around once again. I think just having overheated tyres, it's a bit of a pain, I must admit. So, unfortunate for him. I think he was running quite well. Sort of having a good scrap between him and V5 and Graham as well. Hopefully no contact between the pair of them, as Jonathan, did he do the same thing to E2 as what he's just done to Freya as well? Might have gone down the inside, not too sure. Not too sure. But Jonathan is going to be in a bit of a catch-up game as Lawmans, I thought he was going to send it up the inside of Dan, but has had to stay behind him for now. Will the ILRC man manage to get past the spreadsheet XL Dan? I don't know. We'll have to see. The DRS is wide open as there are yellows. It is Black Panther who has spun at turn 11. Oh, sorry, turn 12 even. At the exit of turn 12, shall I say. And Lawmans, he's having to just stay put behind Dan for now. If you are just tuning in to the League of Europe stream, currently we are 15 laps in, as you can see in the top left of your guys' screen. Mr. Anchor qualified on pole, sitting in first position at the moment, 5.7 seconds up ahead of his VSR counterpart of Syke, who actually qualified down in P4. Dan is sitting in P3. I was going to say sitting pretty in P3, but he's not sitting pretty because he has got Lawmans just behind him sitting in P4. The battle that you can see going on screen right now. Jonathan, he was the one that was leading the race when everyone else had hit under the virtual safety car, but unfortunately had lagged out and his AI car came in and put the set on the mediums on. So maybe he can try and take them to the end. There is a possibility, but he's going to need to be very preservative on his tyres for that one. E2 sitting in P6 with 3 in 7th at the moment. Vallejo in 8th. Dylan Warren unfortunately sitting in 9th, and 10th is Cube. So here we go, Normans. Going. He's not actually going to get past Dan. He's having to stay behind him for now. Oh! A little bit. I think a little bit just came out of Lawmans then. He's definitely touching cloth from that. Lawmans has to stay put behind Dan. That's going to cost him a lot of time as there are more yellows. It's WF Gaming. He's fallen victim to the turn 12 curb, turn 11 curb once again. This time, no wing damage. And there goes Mr. Anchor. Unfortunately, lapping the man in the Ferrari. And Exy, in fact, he did come into the pits in the end and put on a fresh set of softs. Exy could be going for the fastest lap of the race so far as Gilzo's made his way back into the pits. Ria's come into the pits. And he's coming out behind that battle between them as Exy now trying to go down the inside of Itendu into turn 1. Got that move done, fairly straightforward. Although it's not very straightforward because I can't speak today. Itendu getting the move done once again on Exy. Exy getting a very bad exit out of turn 1. Exit out of turn 1, unfortunately for him. He's got to try and do it all over again. With him being on a quicker tyre compared to the man he is battling up front at the moment. Oh, Dan and Lawmans. Something that's produced on that one as Lawmans now past Dan. So I'm not too sure what happened with him there, but Lawmans and Dan, this is a bit of an interesting battle, and they're not going to be alone anymore. Look who's joined the party with them. Jonathan, now only 8 tenths behind Dan, and he's on the quicker tyre compared to all of the other guys, and it's a softer tyre. I know it will start to wear out soon, but Jonathan is on an absolute charge as Exy has managed to get back past Itendu now. I think that was at the turn 12 curb, although they are both still battling a hell of a lot. And I can see a little bit of a sandwich occurring, a bit of a Racing Point sandwich here. Or shall I say, last year's Mercedes versus this year's Mercedes sandwich. As Graham very wide coming out of turn 4. Graham picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. V5, is he going to try and go for a move in Q Jansen? No, he doesn't. He's going to stay behind him for now. We have got 12 more laps left to go. It's V5. And again, another touching cloth moment for the Brit in the Merc. And then this battle here the three-way battle for P3, the final place on the podium. Dan, Jonathan, DRS wide open. Normans is a bit too far away from Dan and Jonathan at the moment, so no positions are going to be made, or any positions are going to be changed. But just behind, Graham maybe eyeing up a move on V5 as Cube Janssen now starting to lose V5 ever so slightly. Again, as I said, if you guys are new to the League of Europe, it is the top 12 that get points, and also the person getting the fastest lap has to be inside the top 12. Tendu, another victim of the turn 11 chicane curb, and unfortunately is now down in P17. He was having a good battle, I believe it was with Exy. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It does happen at that curb, unfortunate for him. But here we go, battle brewing once again. Jonathan, DRS now wide open with Dan. The DRS now wide open as well. Jonathan breaking a bit later than what those guys were up ahead of him, as he Tendu actually makes his way into the pits. So possibly going to try and go for a bit of a fastest lap, as Dan got a very bad exit coming out of there compared to Jonathan. Jonathan, he's got a much better run than what Dan has got. Even though he's got the DRS wide open, Jonathan could still be eyeing up a move on him. Here we go. DRS now has been closed. Dan getting a very bad exit out of turn one now, both side by side, both Jonathan and Dan. Jonathan around the outside of Dan into turn 2. And I've got to say, that is definitely probably the move of the race so far. So a very good move from him indeed. Dan now back down into P5, unfortunately for him, as Warren is now starting to catch up to the back of E2. As V5 and Cube Janssen have both traded places. V5 goes deep in towards turn 1. Cube Janssen did leave him the room, and V5 got the DRS on the Dane. But Graham now trying to get into the mix of this as well. This is the final set of points. The 2 racing points have kept up ahead of this year's Mercs, should I say. Last year's Mercs proved to be a bit better than this year's Mercs. But I'm going to ride on board with Warren, as look how close he is to the back of E2. He is on a fresher set of tyres and on a softer set of tyres. I think Warren is going to try and take these to the end of the race, and I believe Jonathan might even try and take these to the end of the race. So we'll see how they fare on with that, as Warren DRS now wide open for the Brit, coming up behind the finish of E2. Tries to go a little bit defensive, a little bit of a late manoeuvre, kind of resembling what the actual Romain Grosjean did, but got the move done nevertheless, and DRS is wide open for Warren as well. I don't think E2 is going to be able to do anything unless he actually sends one up the inside. No, he doesn't. Although Warren does have a massive lock up in towards turn 3, as I didn't actually catch it. Normans getting overtaken by Jonathan. I do apologise for missing that one, as there are yellows. In fact, WF Gaming just letting everyone through up ahead of him, as V5 makes his way into the pits. That is going to be his final pit stop, and I believe he's running on a set of the softs. He is indeed. It says he's on 18 lap old softs. I can tell you now, he's not on 18 lap old softs. He is on a fresh set of soft tyres. And the same with the Tendu. He's not on 19 lap old softs. He's on a fresh set of softs as well. But Graham and Cube Janssen, the 2 racing points. I was quite impressed with both of their performances last weekend for the pre-season race, and so far it's looking like a decent race for him, as there are yellows. Was that Gilzo? It is. He's got front left end plate damage once again. So it's going bad to worse for the lads in the Renault. I mean, Black Panther is in the points, or has a point, as Dan picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. I think if he would have just stayed behind these guys, he would have been in the point. Well, he would have been P3, but now Dan's got a bit of work to do. But this battle here for P10 still very close. And in fact, Black Panther is the one that's just behind these guys. He's on a fresher set of tyres, on a softer set of tyres. Cube Janssen, Graham, I know they're both going to the end on the set of hards, but it looks like Black Panther is going to the end on the set of mediums, as he goes down the inside of not 1 but 2 racing points. Black Panther getting a double overtake down the DRS straight, And now, is Cube Jansen going to have any luck against his teammate Graham? Is he going to go up the inside of his teammate? He is. The two Racing Points are both having a good battle. Both still side by side going through turn 3 into turn 4. Cube Jansen does hold his own as Gilzo unfortunately has retired from the session. XE coming in, putting on another fresh set of softs. Interesting. Very interesting. But you can see, look how much Black Panther has already gotten up ahead of the two guys in the Racing Point. So it could have been a different story for a lot of these drivers. However, I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But one battle that is starting to brew up a bit more now as well is the Finn of E2 and the Spaniard of Frey, as Cube Jansen picks himself up a 3-second time penalty. We have got 8 laps left to go of the race as Frey DRS is now wide open. Trying to maybe go for a move around the outside of E2, but E2 does move himself back onto the racing line, closing the door on the Spaniard of Frey. And you can see the two Mercedes teammates very close together. I think Bree may just let V5 go straight for it as he is on a softer compounded tyre. DRS is wide open for the Brit, although it doesn't look like he's going to make it easy as V5 has set the fastest lap of the race. He has got 17 seconds to make up within the next 6 laps if he wants a chance of at least getting 2 points, because if he does get 12th, he's already got a point for the fastest lap. But if he's outside the top 12, he is not getting the fastest. He won't have the fastest lap point counted. Frey, however, still just behind E2. Got a bit of a bad run coming out of the final corner, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen actually, as E2 tries to go defensive on the inside of Frey. Now both side by side in towards turn 1. Frey, I think, has to give up the position. E2 does stay up ahead, but he's going to have the DRS going in towards turn 3, as there is a ghost car of Itendu getting in the way a bit of these guys, and I can imagine it's probably putting these guys off, but Itendu getting past his teammate, and Frey has to stay behind the Haas. DL Warren picks himself up yet another 3-second time penalty. If anyone does know anything about me with streaming, with doing comms, I never like looking at the penalties. I always just keep it to the end of the race, as it can be a bit of a sort of, well, it could be completely a guess as to who is going to win. I mean, at the moment, it is looking like it's Mr. Anchor, as he doesn't look like he's put a foot wrong in his driving whatsoever. He's probably getting a bit bored up front. 8 seconds now up ahead of Syke at P2. Jonathan sitting in P3, 13 seconds behind Syke. Lawmans is in 4th with Dan in 5th so far. Dylan Warren in P6 with E2 in 7th and Frey in 8th. In fact, that battle's still going on between the pair of them. We're going to sit on board with that as well. Vallejo sitting in P9 and making his debut in LOE, along with a few of the other guys like Mr. Anchor, Syke, Jonathan. Lawmans, I'd say technically, even though he was on the PS4 side previously, but still making his debut in LOE, I'd say technically. Warren, E2, Vallejo, as I said, sitting in P9. Black Panther making his debut as well, sitting in P10. Graham and Cube Jansen, again, also debuts, even though they did race last week, but it's technically the actual first official race. Two Racing Points sitting in P11, P12, rounding out the final set of points. And XE, WF Gaming and Nintendo also on the just outside of the points, making their debuts as well. But so far, it's looking very interesting. The two Racing Points, I don't think are budging with each other, so this battle for P7 is where I think it's going to be at, as Frey, he's going to have the DRS on E2 coming through here now. As who's that that's gone off again? Is that WF Gaming again? It looks like it. Very unfortunate for the man in the Ferrari. Unfortunately, a 3rd time, I think 3 times a charm. spinning at that turn 11 curb. As looking at this, E2 is getting gifted DRS from his teammate, which is allowing him to stay up ahead of Frey, which I think is why Frey is not catching him as quick as V5, picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. He's brought that gap down, to be fair, to Kjeld Jansen by 7 seconds within the last 2 laps. So he's on for it. He is absolutely pushing for it. As Frey, oh, this could play a bit of a part into it if E2 doesn't have, if E2 has a penalty as well. Picking himself up a 3-second time penalty as Lormans as well. Yet another 3-second time penalty. So Dan, he's 5 seconds behind Lormans, and he's actually got Dylan Warren just coming up behind him. But with the amount of penalties that Warren's got, I think Dan is still going to finish in P5 anyway. But look at this, Frey starting to drop off the back of E2. As I said, E2, he's got DRS from his teammate. He's absolutely helping him out. As E2's actually just let those 2 guys through, which is why there were the yellow flags. As Brie, 3-second time penalty. V5 now bringing that gap down, is now 9.4 seconds. As Warren is trying to get a move done down the inside of Dan. It was turn 3, lunges it straight down the inside, and that was a very good move from Warren to getting that move done on Dan. Again though, Warren, the amount of penalties he's got, I'm not too sure if it's going to matter unless he manages to pull out a gap of about 9 seconds in front of Dan in these final closing stages of the first round of Australia here on the PC tier. Again, to everybody that has tuned in, to everybody that has signed up, we do thank you very much for everything that you have done. It is definitely much appreciated. We've got this battle going on here between the 2 racing points, as Graham is actually in AI mode. As I think there's a little bit of contact between the pair of them, as V5 for some reason was also, oh, he was just ghosted because he was getting alerted by Mr. Anchor. But Graham, I'm not too sure why he's in AI mode. Is he still in AI mode? He is. Very strange, very strange. But now Frey, without having Itendu there to give his teammate any DRS, is he going to be able to get any sort of move done on the man in the Haas? Here we go, he's got a much better exit than I think what E2 has, and here we go, DRS now wide open for the Spaniard. E2 tries to go defensive on the inside, although does cut back onto the racing line, so Frey now going to try and go down the inside of E2 into turn 1. He's already ahead of him before it gets to the turn, and Frey is now up into P7. Again, I don't know what the penalty situation is looking like with E2, but Frey, once again, DRS wide open for him. So he's going to try and extend that gap to the Haas behind him. And now Frey, he's 8 seconds behind Dan with over 3 laps to go. I don't think he's going to have any chance of being able to catch up to him. However, E2 and Frey, it's still what to play for between these 2. And also Dan is still doing a pretty good job of keeping with Warren, actually. I think Warren's mediums and Jonathan's mediums are starting to die off, as Graham has come into the pits to retire from the session. Very interesting, very interesting. Frey, yet another 3-second time penalty. It's not going to be helpful for the Spaniard. He may drop behind the man he has been battling of E2. But Dan, he's now charging. We are on the penultimate lap of the first round on the PC tier of the League of Europe. And Mr. Anchor, I haven't gone on board with him much. I'm still going to stick on board with this battle ever so slightly with Dan and Warren. Dan doesn't know he's going to be able to get past Warren, so I'm going to go on board with our race leader, as he has just driven an absolute stellar race so far. He's 10 seconds up from the car just behind him. And then another 10 seconds between him, between Syke and Jonathan, and then another 10 seconds between him, between Jonathan and Lormans. So 10-second gap all around from the top 4, or should I say 40-second gap, sorry, between the whole of the top 4. It is going to be Dan and Warren though, still trying to keep this a bit interesting, as we now go on to the final lap of the race with Mr. VSR Anchor and Dan DRS open for him. As I said, Warren, the amount of penalties he has gotten, if my maths isn't crap, I'm sure he is going to be up ahead of Warren at the end of the race. As I say that, bit of a commentator's curse, so I do apologise, Dylan. Gives himself another 3-second time penalty. And let's have a look at the gap to the leader. So everyone other than V5, Bree, XE, WF Gaming, and Nintendo have been lapped. And I assume, as you can see on the mini-map, Coop Janssen is only just up ahead of Mr. Anker, coming up towards the turn 10 and turn 11 chicane. But I said it's the final lap, and all of these guys have now got to do an absolute push to see how they fare on Dan. I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's only got one more DRS zone, full DRS zone, shall I say, to make up on the Red Bull. So I don't think he's going to get him on track, but he is going to get him on penalties, as Nintendo setting the fastest lap, taking that away from V5, as he did manage to get himself into the points, unfortunately, for the Brit in the Mercedes. There's nothing he's going to be able to do, because he's behind this man who has driven an absolute stellar race. Congratulations to VSR, Mr. Anker, for taking the win of the first round of the League of Europe PC tier at the Albert Park circuit. Coming home in P2 is going to be VSR Psych. Very good job starting in P4, making his way up into P2. Jonathan, unfortunate with him lagging out. What could have been for the German driver, he could have been in P2, could have even potentially been battling Mr. Anker for first. Does finish in P3. You can see Lorman's in the background here, coming around the final corner. Is it going to stay this way, however, as Lorman's comes out to finish P4, Dylan Warren P5. He doesn't. Dan does take P5. Warren takes P6. Now this battle here, has E2 done enough to stay behind Frey and get ahead of him on penalties? As Frey actually had a 5-second stop go, he has done enough. As in fact, he's dropped back well behind him. Could Vallejo actually overtake him? Let's have a look. Vallejo coming across the line. 2 seconds off. Very close, very close. But now we just wait. Black Panther making his way up to the line as WF Gaming getting a 5-second for unserved. Black Panther finishing in P10, and our final finisher is going to be the Dane of Coop Janssen, coming home to finish in P11. So, very interesting overall. A very good start to the season, I must admit. Very, very good start to the season. So here are your final classifications for the finish. Mr. Anker taking the win, the Flying Finn, as he's probably never going to get tired of hearing that. As I said, taking the win on that one. In P2, you had VSR Psych, P3, BDG Jonathan, P4 it was ILRT Lawmans, Dan finishing in P5, Dylan Warren in P6, E2 finishing in P7 with Frey. Decent P8, starting from 17th up into P8. I think he was the driver of the day, either him or it was V5. Vallejo finishing in P9 with Black Panther in 10th. In P11 was Coop Janssen. V5, as I said, taking the final points position. Bree finishing in P13 with XE in 14th, Nintendo in 15th, WF Gaming finishing in P16th, and then our unfortunate non-finishers all being Graham, Gilzo, O'Hardy and Moritz. And what I'll say is that was actually a very good race, and I hope all of you guys did enjoy that one. As I said, we've got plenty of action to come across. We have got the PS4 side going for tomorrow. I will be racing in that in Division 3, so make sure you're tuning in for that at 6:40, as well as Division 1 and Division 4. Also all at 6:40 PM British Standard Time or UK time, and then Division 2 and Division 5 all at 8 PM British Standard Time, again, or UK time. So making sure that you guys are all tuning in for that one. I hope you all did enjoy that, and I will catch you guys next week for the Bahrain Grand Prix for round 2 of the PC tier. Take it easy, everybody.